And San Martin traffic. Cirrus 717 Alpha Foxtrot taking the active runway.
Okay, we're gonna go battery on, battery 2. We're gonna go strobes on, make sure everything's initializing. Here we're gonna clear everything. We just set up our databases, so they're all current. We got 58 usable gallons of fuel on board. Our moment is good, that's our weight and balance. These are just approximations for weight, just you and I in the aircraft, and our GPS is gonna acquire here in a minute. My mixture, actually first, all the way rich. My throttle forward, I'm gonna go high boost until I see this level of fuel come up and I'll hear the stop. And then after that happens, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back 1/4 inch, go to boost and start it. Okay, so it's gonna feel like this. Boost, there's our fuel, back, pull it back 1/4 inch, boost, prop clear. Test, test.
Test, test.
I hear you loud and clear.
All good.
That was a beautiful start. Probably one of the best starts I've had, actually. All right, all avionics are on, strobes are on. We're gonna get our nav lights on. Pitot heat does not need to be on. Go ahead and lean out here on our mixture. And typically I like to take it to around the X, and then I like to pull myself back to 1,000 RPMs after it sort of goes through. Now every aircraft's slightly different. This guy likes to be a little bit higher. Boost stays on. I'm gonna monitor, right now I'm on my left tank, okay? It's the highest tank. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to my right tank. And the reason I'm doing that is after run up, we're gonna take off with our left tank. And we always wanna switch after run up to make sure everything's working. One of the very first things you wanna look at when you start the aircraft is your oil pressure. Oil pressure has to be solid in the green. And then our temperatures. Right now, we wanna warm the aircraft up. Everything has to get warm before we start going. The cool thing is, this SR22 Turbo G6 Carbon Edition has a beautiful thing called air conditioning, which is pretty rare in general aviation aircraft, and it allows us to stay nice and warm, or I'm sorry, nice and cool on a day like today. It's a hot day, it's 80, maybe 85, something like that. All right, next thing we're gonna do before we do anything else is we're gonna check our ATIS. It's essentially your weather at the location that you're on. So I have that programmed in now. It's on my second comm, active, if you can see that there. I'm gonna go ahead and comm 2.
Celsius. Altimeter 2 inches of mercury.
2 on my altimeter, that's really important.
Automated weather observation 2330 Zulu weather. Wind 200 at 12 knots.
200 at 12
knots.
Peaking 16. So that means the wind is coming at 200 degrees. So we would be taking off runway 14. Okay, so it's coming at a slight crosswind. 2992 is good, that's important. But the most important thing to note is you have 12 miles of a crosswind with a gust of 16. And all that means is that you have to wind correct when you're taking off. So you can't just take off straight, you have to turn your ailerons into the wind. Now, if you guys are watching this and you're a G6 pilot, you know all this. But for your newer pilots, obviously wind correction is really important. All right, I'm going to pull my power back a little bit because right now we're at 1160. We really want to be at 1,000. That's kind of where we want to be right there. 1,000, 1,050 is good. You hear the engine nice and cool. Temperatures are really important. I always want to keep the CHT, that's my cylinder head temperature, under 400, and I want to keep my EGT under 1400. Those are ideal to keep the aircraft and the engine very happy. Voltage is good. We're going to show you during our run-up how to do a load to make sure that this is responding correctly. And this is our fuel flow. Right now we're burning 2.6 gallons per hour. Everything else is looking good in the system. This will give us an alert. Right now it's just telling us that our parking brake is set. And we have the digital backup instruments. This is a really cool feature on the newer G6s. So these are not steam gauges on the backups as well. This completely independent. If anything fails here, first thing if we have a failure here is we're going to hit this button. We're going to go dual zone, right? And then after that we have a third. So we have multiple redundancies in this aircraft to keep us safe. All right, with that said, we're going to pull our flaps up and mixture looks good. We're going to go ahead and taxi to the run-up area. We're going to do a run-up before takeoff. All right, let's do it. All right, key thing on our first initial roll is we want to do a brake check. So I'm going to let the aircraft start rolling, and I'm going to hit a nice stomp, make sure that it's good. I like to do it twice just to make sure it works really well. There, brakes feel good. And, you know, there are lots of preferences on brake checks. My thing is you need your brakes to stop. That is absolutely critical. We're flying out of an airport here that has about a 3,000-foot runway, so we don't have the luxury of just cruising if we don't have strong braking, if that makes sense. So brakes are really important. I'll actually do another brake check as I'm getting to the run-up area and just more aggressively stop those, see what my stopping power feels like, because that's going to simulate, you know, after we land and we touch down, and I got to get on those brakes, right? The other thing that my instructor often says to me is, use the county's money, meaning you have a 3,000-foot runway, let it roll, don't get on your brakes too hard. And so you don't want to ride your brakes because otherwise your maintenance is going to reflect that when you do your annual. And for those of you that know, aircraft is super expensive, so you want to try to maintain your systems and everything as nice as you can, so as you're not dumping money into unnecessary repairs. All right, so now we're approaching the run-up area here. You can see runway 14 is there. Before entering, I'm going to go into this zone. Now, we're going to be good citizens and you can take the first slot and the third. Don't go right in the middle and make it difficult for somebody else to come out and do a run-up. And I like to just rotate. One cool thing about the Cirrus is it rotates on a dime like this. I like to rotate so I'm aiming at the runway. I can see my windsock in case I have any directional change. And then I still have a visual on my short and final approach. So before I take the active runway, I'm going to do a glance of the windsock. I'm going to glance to see my traffic pattern is clear. And then I'm going to take the active runway as I announce. Now let's go through our run-up. First thing I'm going to do, get my parking brake set. There's a flow that Cirrus likes you to do, and it's an L formation like this, right? So I typically like to do that right when I go. So my boost is on. I'm on my right gown. We're going to change this before takeoff. I'm going to go full rich. My flaps are up. Comms are set. Everything's illuminated here. I have my air. AC's on 2. We feel pretty good. Temperatures are looking good, so we're ready for run-up. We're at 300 and 1220, so meaning the engine is now warm enough to go ahead and put it under stress. We do have an alert, think it's parking brake, it is. Everything else looks set. Altimeter is 29902. We're at 300 AGL, and so really important to note, CAPS, which is here, in case of an emergency, this is active to us at 600 AGL. Because we're 300 AGL, we want to do the math there and add that up, and our number's 900. We do not want to do the math when we get up in the sky. If we lose our engine, we don't want to be doing math. We just want to know through 900 feet on my indicated altitude meter here on this tape. Through that, I also have the tape here. My cap system is available, and I'm going to call that out when I clear through 900 feet. I'm going to say caps and point up. Right now I know I have that available to me as a safety option. All right, transponder is going to set to VFR. That just means we're under visual flight rules, and I like to bug my heading bug the runway heading. So we're taking off runway 14, and so that is right there. Okay, it's my blue bug, and you can already see that my nav channel's there. So that looks good. All right, let's start. I'm going to grab my checklist, go right to my run-up. Now, a couple things. I like to do a quick visual of my checklist, but I'm actually going to use my digital checklist. I'm using this just so that, and this is for an SR22 G6, Folks that use digital checklists, definitely the way to go. It's easier. You do want to have a backup. And so I just Velcro this. I have it right on the edge there, and it's just accessible to me. This is actually a cool little system I came up with. Really easy, accessible to you right there. Okay, we're going to go checklist here. Okay, we did our pre-flight. So one thing I'll note for you Perspective Plus people, this system is awesome. Everything is at your fingertips, and it's designed to have everything at your fingertips quickly here. So we've done our pre-flight, weight and balance is done, emergency equipment is on board. We have 2 passengers, seatbelts. I'll do my briefing, so Monty, who's my videographer, I'm going to tell him if we lose our engine on the runway before rotation, meaning before we take off, I'm going to pull the power back, and I'm going to stop this aircraft on the runway. Okay, if we lose it after rotation, but before we hit 900 feet, right, on the tape, because we don't have caps until 900 feet, doesn't give us a lot of people think, oh, I got time to turn around or height. No, that's how stalls and crashes happen. If we lose our engine under 900 feet, we're going to pull power back. We're going to pitch for best glide, okay, and which is essentially 92, and I'm going to land straight ahead in one of these fields or on that freeway, but typically, like, this area has nice fields. If we lose our engine above 900 feet, I'm going to immediately pull caps, and if we lose our engine anything higher than 2,500 feet, we're going to troubleshoot a little bit until we get about 1,200, then we're going to pull caps. That's our briefing. Any questions on the briefing?
Nope.
All right. Seatbelts are good. Your doors are closed. We're going through that. Next checklist here. This we don't need to do because we've already done it. That's our normal engine start. You can kind of see here, it walks you through. So brakes are set. Doors are closed. Cap handle is available. I'm just checking through here, and I'm checking as I go. Seatbelts are, I see that my passenger seatbelts are good. Mine is good. Cabin heat is good. That's set. I don't want to take off with recirculating air. This button here, I want it to be turned off. I actually like to turn my AC off when I take off, just so I have max power. So we'll do that at the end. Fuel quantity, we've checked. Looks good. I'm going to switch to my left tank because when I do my run-up, I want to make sure both tanks are feeding fuel. Fuel pump is on boost. That's already set there. Flaps are 50%. We have those set. Autopilot, so this is important. We want to connect our autopilot. So here we're going to go autopilot, and now we want to make sure that we can overpower it. See there? So I can overpower it. Now I'm going to disconnect. Okay. Enter. Transponder set. We already set it to VFR. Comms are set. Basically, we're on the frequency here. CTAF frequency, which is essentially how we're communicating with other pilots. We're at a non-towered airport. We're holding our brakes. Now we're going to go, this is when we do the actual run-up. We're going to go full rich on the mixture. We're going to run this bad boy. Now, when I do this part, I'm going to go to my engine page. So you'll see me click here. And now I'm going to get myself up to 1,700 RPMs. Immediately, I'm going to let it stabilize at 1,700. And then I'm going to check my mags. For you car people, the difference between aircraft and cars is mags will run no matter what's going on with the battery. They'll self-charge, so everything goes out. It's powering the unit. All right, so we're stable there. I'm checking my temperatures. Okay, these are all my cylinder head temperatures. Everything looks good. So my mags are on both. I'm at 1,700. Say I'm going to go left mag check. I should see a drop. Okay, about 60. I'm going to go back to both. Okay, stabilizes again. Now I'm going to go to my right mag. Should see another drop, but the two shouldn't drop more than about 50. That looks good. And then I'm back to both. Okay. Now I'm going to load my altimeter by turning all my lights on. So I'm going to go landing light, electrical light, and I could see very subtly, I'll drop it back down, you could see very subtly that took a load. Okay, there. Now, watch when I turn on the pitot heat. Now that really picks up. You see that? That current load really went back. So I'm going to pull those back off. That looks good. I'm just leaving my navs and strobes off. Everything feels stable. All the temperatures look good. So now I'm going to pull it back slowly to idle. So that's a beautiful idle. And now we're going to pull her back up to 1,000 and lean her back out. And there we go. And we do see an oil pressure caution light. That's just because our RPMs are a little bit low. This aircraft likes to be a little bit higher.
4737, we're going to be doing maneuvers at 4,500.
Okay.
Never did.
Now I'm going to go engine page back off. I'm going back to my checklist, and we're going to go through this and make sure that we did it. Okay, so we went power, alternator we checked our pitot heat, our nav lights, our landing lights, we did that full load. Okay. We did our magneto check. This is what I was telling you earlier. Drop must not exceed 150 RPMs for either magneto, and the differentiation between the two can't be more than 75. Ours was like 40, so we're in really good shape. Ignition switch, we did that. Engine parameters, we looked at that. We pulled it back to idle. That was beautiful. Okay, this is really important. People skip this all the time. Flight instruments, flight controls, free and correct. This is critical. Free and correct. So now, pull my ailerons back. I'm looking at that rudder. I want to make sure it's pointing up. Pull my other one back. Pull my other back. I want to make sure that that's up. So as I rotate that, that should come up. And I'm going to do a box. Now I'm going to pull it back. Okay, I'm looking at my trim. I'm looking at my elevator. Okay, everything is free and correct. Rudders both come. Full motion. That feels great. I like what I'm seeing. That's free and correct on that. And then I'm going to go ahead and set my trim for takeoff. I like to do that immediately because I'm there. And that's next. So flight controls are free and correct. Trim for takeoff. You can see right here, we're in this tab. We want to be right there so when we take off, it doesn't pop up or stay down. It just smoothly takes off. CAS messages, that's this. These have been coming up the whole time. CAS messages are on. We're not doing any flying into clouds, so we don't need to worry about our pitot, although we checked all of that already because you never know. Lights are good. Flaps are ready to go. And that's it. Next is a normal procedure, takeoff. We're going to go brakes, release them. Power is going to go full forward. Engine parameters, we're going to check to make sure everything's in the green. We're going to watch our speed. You're going to hear me say power set. Then you're going to hear me say airspeed coming alive or airspeed alive. Basically, we're looking at that speed because we're going to rotate at 77 knots. Right? A knot is 1.15 mile per hour, so about 90, 88, somewhere in there. We're going to rotate at 77. And as soon as we clear the ground and we have a positive rate, you're going to hear me say positive rate, clear of obstacles, that's at least 50 feet or higher. I like to wait till I'm above 100 to touch anything. And then my flaps are coming up. I'm going to hold her 92, then 103. Okay? So you can see here 90 knots, flaps up. Okay? So we're going to go rotate 90, positive rate, flaps up. Okay, and then as soon as we stabilize through 900, if you've been paying attention, we want to not do the math. So it's 300, which is where we're at. That's our pattern altitude or pattern elevation. We're at 300 elevation, so we know that CAPS is available to us at 600. So we want to make sure we're not doing that math. 900, we can pull CAPS. All right, and I go through that checklist, and then basically we're ready to go. Next checklist is going to be full power climb, rich of peak, and I have that loaded ready to go for the next thing. So now I'm just going to exit. Now I'm looking at everything. I'm going to zoom into a range that I like, right? I don't want to be here because I can't see anything. For awareness of traffic, I like to be right around, maybe on takeoff 2.5 to 4, and then get around 5 to 7.5. You can see if I get down close enough, I can see there's one guy in the pattern, right? And you can see him, essentially, our radar is picking him up, or her.
And San Martin traffic, Cirrus 717 Alpha Foxtrot, taking the active runway 14 for a straight out departure. San Martin.
All right, runway is clear. We're going to get maximum runway here. Rotate. Lights, camera, action. Power set. Airspeed's alive. And I'm going to abort the takeoff.
And San Martin, Cirrus SR22T Alpha Foxtrot is coming off the active runway. Little power anomaly I'll check out. San Martin.
Alright, so we had a little surge, which is pretty normal, but there was a power anomaly there, and so I just want to make sure. So we're just going to taxi back. You know, one thing I'll say is, when you're flying, and this is a really, almost a brand new aircraft, when you're flying, you can never be too cautious. And if something doesn't feel right, don't force it. There's no need to force it. Check it out. Better to live and fight another day than to try to force a situation. A lot of pilots feel like they have to get somewhere. You always have the option of taking the airline, right? Or driving, depending on where you're going. So that's something I will can't stress enough. Make sure that you are smart and you're safe and everything's good. You'll fly a long time. Alright, so shutdown procedure, very simple. All we're going to do is pull everything back. We're going to make sure our air is off. Pull everything back, pump off, and let her go ahead and turn off, and then we're going to go. All the buttons. Key comes out. Okay. And then usually crack this open, make sure that everything is turned off. Release my brakes. Here I'm on a slight little decline here, so make sure I don't roll away. Go ahead and logs your hob time. Make sure that you have that. Okay. And then I like to just double check because I've turned all my checklists off. So securing avionics is off, fuel pumps off, throttle's idle. Make sure cut off hobs, ignition, ELT, caps. So I'm going to go ahead and put our pins back in. Pin here. I like to keep my key there so I can essentially never make that mistake. And then this is going to just go cover right there. Okay, that's good. And that's pretty much the shutoff. Log your time, thank your student or your instructor, and have a great day. Rule number 1, attack.